Hey, collective. I hope everybody's doing well. And of course, that also includes my spies who are out there. Hope you guys are having a great day too. It's Thursday the 10th. Today, or tonight, I should say, is the full moon on Capricorn, I believe it is. And for those who are still in denial, and that's the people I just addressed, you're going to be forced to deal with some truth here very soon. So you've been in denial all this time, and because you're cowards, you refuse to see truth. You want to see whatever illusion that you create in your minds. And for those out there who are unaware and so on, this will be a guide and a help for you, especially when things start to get a little difficult and you're forced to look at the reflection of yourself and deal with certain things in your life here very, very soon. That's what this is all about, and this is the beauty and I guess you could say the magic when it comes to Australia astrology. I was just thinking about Australia. I was just thinking, since I've been here pretty much, roughing it for the last 45 days and what have you, it's been a blessing. It hasn't been a curse at all to me. And I say that because I've been in some of the most hostile freaking places in the world, camping and so on. Australia among them, where they have every poisonous and every creature that wants to eat you, out there in the outback, from the smallest bloodsuckers to the largest, man-eaters and so on, the saltwater crocs, great white sharks, and so on and so forth. In Australia, but all over the world. Deserts all over the world, from the Sahara to, Saudi Arabia, the Middle East. Of course, here in California, the Mojave Desert. And also trained in a great deal of the more tropical climates, and those were more, I guess you could say, they're pretty extreme climates too. Especially when you get into Southeast Asia and all that kind of stuff, where they have a mixture of things, where it gets incredibly hot and humid during the summers and very cold in the winters. Places such as Korea, where we had as Marines called the frozen Chosin Reservoir during the Korean War. Very famous, part of our history. The ground was so solid because it was so cold. We had to use dynamite basically just to loosen up the ground enough to bury our dead and so on and so forth. So being out here has been a blessing for me. So it's helped revitalize me. It's helped, I guess you could say that it's nourished me in ways I didn't realize that I was in need of. So, blessings. And there are always blessings in disguise. You just have to really sometimes search for them. So I want to share that with you as well, because I know sometimes when you're going through it, it's really hard to see light at the end of the tunnel or any possible good. Why am I being punished? Well, I've asked those things before, so I don't want to be a hypocrite. I want to be honest with you. It's an evolutionary type of journey that we're all on. But I'm more and more becoming a believer in the fact that these things are not done to us, but for us. Even the most extreme forms of karma, they're not necessarily there just to put us down. I mean, there may be a time where, capital punishment is absolutely necessary, even in the spiritual sense. When people again and again and again, life after life after life, just refuse to learn their lessons, maybe that's the chaff that has to be burned. I don't know. I can't say with 100% certainty, although I'm starting to feel that way. And there are certain people that have been in my particular sphere of influence that may fit into that category. And if they don't quit very, very soon, they may end up finding out, and it may be one of those too little, too late situations for them. Of course, they're going to be in denial. Their hubris, their pride was going to be their downfall. Now, why am I saying all this? Because it's really been eating away at me. I've been trying to help these people, and all they can do is sit there and say, he's on his high horse, he's this, he's that, he's the other thing. And it has nothing to do with pride at all. Because until this becomes revealed anyways, everybody is going to feel that I'm either crazy, losing it, or whatever the case may be. Except for those who are in the know. And even they are in denial. But that's because of their own monumental friggin', egos. So I'm trying to help somebody, especially out there, who has nobody in their corner that will tell them the truth. I don't want to say it, I don't, but she's a coward. They're a coward. And as a result of that, they're more worried about what the people around them have to say than what the truth is. And as a result of that, they're going to end up paying the ultimate price, perhaps. And again, I share these things because it can be a lesson for all of us. We see these lessons echoed in many different stories throughout every religious belief system. And, the thing that I'm going through is certainly no different. So, and again, it'll be a story that I'll be able to tell better, of course, when everything is out in the open. And I know that they know that they're being observed. They're being watched. And soon this will be out in the open. But in the meantime, it's just the rantings of somebody that they want everybody to believe is crazy. So, and if that makes you sleep at night, then so be it. But I know you're not sleeping well at night. Let's look at the energy now, guys. That's enough for that. I just felt compelled because I know that they watch me each and every day to give them that little, heads up, so to speak, because their time is very, very short. So the energy that we have all around for this week is excellent one. It's Gibo, and that's the gifting or the rune of reciprocity, both giving and receiving. Okay, so it also deals in the same respect, not just for materialistic goods and gifts, but also partnerships, love relationships, and divine union, so to speak, which is what we've been talking about, especially yesterday, where we got more than a few confirmations about a literal divine union coming up. And again, divine unions, although they don't always have to be of a love variety, and by that I mean they don't have to be of a romantic variety, but in this particular case it does seem to be pointing in that direction, yes. So if you are single, then there's a very good chance that somebody special is coming into your life here very, very soon. It may already be in your life. Maybe you just don't see it yet. I don't know. But things are going to feel fairly natural with that person. They're going to be your piece. You're going to be theirs. Okay, so that is basically the energy for the overall energy for the week. Now, what we have for the overall energy for today that we pulled for the week ahead of time for Thursday, the pre-Thursday pull was Odin's rune, and that's Ansus. And again, just like yesterday, since we pulled it again yesterday, it actually speaks of wisdom, the use of your words. And remember now, anything dealing with magic is also the use of words. That's why they call it spelling. When you're casting a spell, you're using words, affirmations, sigils, and other things that have meaning behind them. And that's what words are. Words are basically, interpreted. They have meanings behind them. And the more intensity, the more truth behind them, then the more power that they actually have as well. So this is what Ansus is all about. As Odin is the premier god in the Norse mythology, although he is not the god of creation, if you will. There is one greater still. And he is one that's basically not named. The Norse themselves do not even dare name him. Although I've viewed somebody's website recently where they talk about this. And I'll see if I can get some permission so I can put his link also in my page later on. So if you're interested in mythology and the overall beliefs of the Norse and so on, then you can get a pretty good understanding of what they believe. To me, it's fascinating. I love mythology. There's always some truth. Where there's smoke, there's fire, kind of a thing. So there's a lot of smoke in mythology, okay? And a lot of parallels, for that matter. Now, the influential energies that we have for the week were also fairly good. We have two gods that showed up. The god Tyre. Now, Tyre, under Tiwaz, is the god of justice, righteousness, and fairness, and of course, war. So, and he oversees the third and final family, or Ayat, of 8 runes. So, again, that pretty much entails all the leadership traits, attributes, and characteristics such as discipline, duty, responsibility, justice, honor, warrior, victory, question. I'm sorry. No, that's in the reverse. He came in the upright. So now the other goddess we got was the goddess Freya, but she was in the reverse, and we pulled that one for Tuesday. Now that means quite the opposite. She's the one that watches over and is more or less the one responsible for the first family group, or Ayat, of 8 runes. The ones that talks about materialistic goods and the things that we all need and cling to and desire in this world. But in the reverse, it means greed and loss and disappointments, money problems, arguments, loss of property, loss of self-esteem, failure rather than success, feeling of burnout and atrophy, discord, cowardice, stupidity, poverty, slavery, and bondage. So, and again, this could be talking to the third party we have been discussing for the last 2 weeks straight now, specifically. You're not going to have just your soulmate coming in. You may have multiple people coming in, and it's going to be a test of your intuition. And it may be a test that you didn't pass in the first part of this particular cycle. So in order for us all to move forward, we have to prove that we've learned our lessons and overcome the temptations and so on that may be put in front of us, the obstacles and so on that we've seen many times in other rooms that we've talked about. And that's what this is. This truly is a school of sorts, and from what I have gathered, watching other people and other spiritual leaders and so on for the many years that I've been involved in spirituality, I believe that Earth in particular is one of the highest realms of spiritual education because it's not an easy school. Very, very difficult school, in fact. Now, many people have made that same comparison. Now, of course, I can't just, show you a whiteboard and prove to you that, other realities, other worlds are going to be much, much easier in terms of spiritual lessons. But we can all feel the difficulty of this materialistic and very dense level of existence that we live in here. And just to give you an idea, you can be an atheist and still understand what I'm saying if you believe in science, for example, and science is your religion, and that's precisely what it is. Because science is just slowly catching up with many of the faiths and what they have said for thousands of years when you really look at it for what it is, especially in what we call the laws of science or physics. But it doesn't matter what we're talking about, the laws of entropy or whatever, and many other laws. Again, the law of conservation of energy, the laws of thermodynamics. We talk about energy cannot be created or destroyed. It's eternal, but it can be converted from one form into another. Okay, from this reality of denseness to a more higher vibrational form of existence, the spiritual realm, one of light, to be more specific. Okay, it makes perfect sense as you start to look at it from all the different areas that encompass our world of understanding. And this is what this is. Think of this world, if you will, as a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle. Usually we have the luxury of having a picture of what the finished product looks like on the box that holds the 1,000 pieces of that puzzle. And then we start with the easiest pieces, the border pieces, right? Well, unfortunately, in our existence, we don't have the luxury of knowing what the actual end picture is going to look like. But we do have the luxury of looking at that particular analogy and trying to find the pieces that are easiest to put together, the border pieces that do fit. And once you do that, slowly and over time, a picture starts to emerge. You'll not see the entire picture. You won't see the whole image of what this life is in its entirety. But you will start, with time and effort, developing a sense of what really is going on in this world, this matrix. And that movie is actually quite genius in the way that they were able to, relay the information that is found in so many different belief systems. Even Christianity to a certain sense. The esoteric brand of, Judaism, the Kabbalah, for example, all of these things touch upon that to some degree. So certainly the Gnostic belief system, which is, again, the more esoteric belief in Christianity, okay? And I'm not going to get into history or Gnosticism or the occult or anything like that. But what I'm getting at is that puzzle does start to emerge, but you have to actually daily look for those pieces. Put those pieces together. Try them out. Well, they don't fit here. There it is. It fits with this one. And now you have just a wee bit more of that picture start to emerge before you. But as Jesus said, lest you look for truth or search for truth as you would for buried treasure, you're not going to find any, right? I mean, he doesn't say you're going to find it, but he said if you don't look at it with the same fervor and with the same intensity that somebody that believes they have, for example, an idea where great treasure may be hidden, and they spent untold amounts of energy and time and effort trying to uncover that treasure, you have to do the same thing with truth. I'm telling you, when you get involved with this particular journey, the journey of finding truth, you're going to find that there have been great efforts put before us to not only bury the truth, try to literally destroy the truth. There have been multiple burnings of the world's, knowledge and these great libraries and so on that we've had. And I'm not just talking about the Library of Alexandria. I'm talking about multiple times there have been burnings of knowledge and information and cultures, great cultures throughout eons of history. And we have deliberately lost the truth about our world. And now it's basically found within the multitudes of different belief systems. A fragment here, a fragment there, another fragment here. And our job is to actually put these pieces of the puzzle together so that we can find some truth and then hopefully share that truth with others who will get involved with this journey of truth. And the more people collectively involved, then the greater the chances of us finding that truth together as a collective. There have been great efforts, and there are great efforts put by those who are supposedly in control of our world today, the movers and shakers and everything else that are working for a very, very dark element. They are. And again, that's not hard to prove. But, and what they did with this whole COVID thing is a perfect example of that. But that being as evil as that actually was, and if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, please get online and spend some time and research this. What they did was absolutely horrific to the majority of the world's population. And I hope you were not one of those who accepted that shot. And stop listening to these people. They are not acting in your best interest. And I'm going to make so many videos here very soon, and I'm going to show all the evidence for all of these things. So it's not just some rambling or something of that nature. These things are easy to prove, and there are multitudes of experts who have been struggling to get the information out there. But when they own and control literally the world's media conglomerates and everything else, a handful of people literally own the world's media. And here in America, it was bought up in 1915 by J.P. Morgan and his ilk. And that's actually in the 1917 64th Congressional Report. You can look it up yourself. Senator Callaway entered it into the minutes of the meeting. So you can see it's a proof. It's a fact. It's not some conspiracy theory. So if they've owned and operated and controlled our media for over 100 years, what does that mean? Are you getting truth, or are you getting their particular propaganda, what they want you to believe, something that supports their agenda? Okay? That's what I'm trying to get at. And then you can look at that in every aspect of control in our society, from those who own and control our food supplies today, what they're doing to it, with those who own and operate our Western medical, world in particular today, certainly our academic society. It goes across the board, literally. Every area that is important to our fabric of society is now in their hands, and it's up to us to put it back in the rightful hands of the people themselves. We the people, right? We the people. So, and what do we choose? Well, we choose freedom. That's what we choose. And the only way we're going to get that is to take it for ourselves. No longer asking for permission for it, but simply taking what is given to us from above. Whether you believe in God or not, or natural law. Natural law was the law of the land once upon a time. And that talks about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You no longer have those rights. And again, I know I'm going on a tirade, but I'm very passionate about this. I've written at least, 14 songs now, and all 14 songs deal with these kinds of subjects. I write poetry about this. I've written books about this. I'm going to have an entire website over all of this information so I can show the proof, not just talk about what could be or might be, but what actually is. All right, enough. Another influence that we had this week, yesterday, was IWAS. Now, IWAS is a very positive room. It talks about rebirth. So there has to be an end to a cycle for you to be born again. That means you have to pass the lessons of that cycle and think of it that way, so you have what it takes as far as a reason to overcome the many temptations that are put before you. Like Jesus was tempted for 40 days and 40 nights in the desert, right? Even by the very devil himself, supposedly. And I believe that, I do. Don't get me wrong. Although I do believe a lot of these things are symbolic and metaphorical in a lot of ways. I definitely believe in the Christ consciousness, that Christ is who he said he was. And but again, I have a very eclectic spirituality, which I'll share another time. And the fact of the matter is, we're all tested similarly. He said, if they did these things to me, how much more are they going to do to you? Very, very true. Again, that should give you the courage to stand strong, knowing full well if you're being, put in this crucible, that means that somebody is probably fearful of what you can do. Okay? And I have been going through pure hell. Okay? But you know what? I'm putting these freaking devils under my heel, left and right. I am. I mean, I know it sounds boastful, but I am. So, and the very people that are sending those devils to me know this. They're experiencing the very karma, the very things that they've been throwing at me are now the things that they themselves are going through. They think I'm doing some form of witchcraft to them, that I've cast some type of magic upon them. No, all I did was send these demons right back to you. I sent all of your magic back to you. You are experiencing exactly what you wanted from me. You can't handle it. You think that everything comes naturally for me, that it's easy for me. Well, you're going to see. You're going to see what it's like. And then we'll see how well you do. You guys are cowards. You've acted cowardly all of this time, and it's time for you to grow up. It's time for you to actually do the right thing. You still have the ability to do so while you have breath. And I hate to say this, but for a couple of you anyways, you may not have that much longer. And I mean that sincerely. And it's not a threat. This is to warn you in advance so you have a final warning. If you don't change right now, you can experience the very things that I've talked about, where there is very possibly no second chance. So you have to make the decision. You have to. We all are forced to make the decisions. We either grow or prove that we are incapable of that growth. And as has been said in more than one belief system, you know, those who have chosen to be chaff instead of the actual wheat among us are going to be burned. They're going to be cast aside. Okay? So you think that hell is going to be a party place or whatever equivalent there is. Some believe there is no such thing. I'm not going to say I believe in hell. I do believe that we do have what the equivalent of a spiritual prison, perhaps, especially for those who continuously break spiritual law, when they have proven that they simply will not learn. Sometimes the most extreme forms of punishment have to take place to get them to reconsider. And again, it's done for you, not to you. So I just wanted to share that, because now we're going to go ahead and get into the tarot. We're going to go ahead and look to see what kind of energy that we have overall for today. And I'll get into the remainder of the energy in terms of the runes. And of course, we'll look at some oracle cards after that. So what is the energy for my collective for today, please? Energy for the collective for today. Thursday the 10th. Full moon in Capricorn. Okay, there's other things happening right now astrologically too, again, which are all influencing you to look at the man in the mirror or woman and actually come to terms with truth. No longer believing the lies. Okay? So this is going to be a difficult time for some people. For others, it's going to be a graduation ceremony. And for those, then I congratulate you. It's not an easy lesson at all. For those who are going to try to capitalize tonight on the energy of the moon to send out even more death spells and other types of things, whether it's physical death, spiritual death, or death to finances, whatever the case may be, I guarantee you it's all going to come right back to you times 10. So, and it's not that I desire that you are suffering or anything like that, but there are spiritual laws and you continue to break them, so you can't get away with it forever. You had every chance, and you had an opportunity that very few of us get. Somebody physically came out and explained it to you and has told you now 28 times in 3 years. This is the 28th time I've shared this with you. So, in 3 years' time, and I have them all recorded because I know what's going to happen. And you still doubt, even though everything else I've told you has already happened or is happening right now. For what it's worth, and I know that you have even grown-ups who are among you that are giving you the absolute worst advice you can imagine. They are not working in your best interest, they're working in their own best interest. So again, I'm telling you these things so you can break away. Because I know that you don't have the courage to do it on your own. I'm trying to give you what you need to see it logically. I know you're a logic-based person, but you haven't been utilizing the gift that you had. You've lost a lot of your other gifts. You still have that. Use it. It just makes me angry sometimes. All right. Energy for today, please. Let's cut them. All right. God, every day this week, it just blows my mind. All right. So at the bottom of the deck, we have courage. Okay? Strength. That's what this is. So what I just said to you is the energy that is available if you have the courage to utilize it. You have all that you need. Now, what is strength? Possessing inner strength to succeed. It means courage, like I've been saying. Self-empowerment doesn't come from out there. It comes from in here. Okay? Willpower, confidence, and love. Now, some of your hearts are so dark you have no love, no empathy for anything. All you care about is yourselves. And I apologize to the collective out there, but it has been put on my heart since 4 o'clock this morning, to feel these things, feeling this sense of angst, to get this out to those who I know are watching, aside from those who are innocent of this and really have no idea too much about what I'm talking about here. I apologize, but I have to use this medium however I am led to use it. So strength is at the bottom. At the top, we have the 6 of Wands. Okay? Now this is for my actual collective doing the work. This shows that the arrival of prosperity is on its way. It's coming. Okay? Talks about triumph and success. The fruits of your labor, as we've been talking about now for the last 3 weeks, is on its way. And personal satisfaction. Let it be so. Awesome. All right. 2 more, please. I get another energy for my collective, please. And or for those who are cross-watching, spying, that need to hear this, Lord. You decide. You decide. I submit to you whatever it is you wish to share. Thank you. One more. All right. 3 of Cups. This is awesome. All right, so this is time for celebration. Celebration, joy, reunions, time to socialize, friendships, parties, and hanging out with groups of people that you care about and love. At the bottom, we have yet another major arcana. Unbelievable. Justice is coming. Now, it's going to be different for every one of us out there. For me, it's going to be pretty extreme. For you out there, if you're going through anything like this, then rest assured, you already have victory, no matter how bad or uncertain it seems. So just give thanks to your ancestors, to Source, the Most High, to God, whoever it is that you pray to, that you seek advice from, and so on each and every time. The universe, whatever it is. That's friggin' awesome. If we get another major arcana at either the top or the bottom, I'm just going to be blown away. All right. And I get one more energy for the collective, please. Whatever you want them to know, Lord, whatever you want them to know. And I have not just my ancestors, but yours here as well. And they tell me basically, or they put ideas in my head and my heart, as to what the energy may actually be conveying. And it'll be different for each and every one of you. So sometimes it gets a little bit cluttered. It gets a little hard to interpret, and I have my own things that are coming in as well at the same time. And I tried to, segregate that. I try to do my own readings later on, specifically just for me. And you might as well stop trying to make that an impossibility. You don't have that power. You're not. You're the little engines who couldn't. And I don't mean to use hubris or anything like that. It's just a fact. You can't stop what I'm doing. You can't. You can keep trying, but it's not going to work. Okay? And again, I don't mean to be boastful or proud. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you should be using that energy and the gifts that you have had, and yet you use them for your own self, for your own empowerment and not for the collective. So you've lost many, if not almost all of your gifts. It's not hopeless, but it's very, very, very close to being so. I really, in the strongest way imaginable, I'm asking for you to reconsider your ways. All right? One more, please. One more. Thank you. All right. Wow. All right. Well, 10 of Wands. All right, so what does that mean? Well, it means you're spreading yourself a little too thin is one thing. Feeling overwhelmed, overburdened, high stress, and a sense of a lot of responsibility, okay? It just means you're at your very last straw. One more straw, and that might be the one that breaks the camel's back, so to speak. So that's what that means. So, and I know there's a few of you out there feeling that. I've certainly gone through that the last couple of months. Okay, at the bottom, King of Cups. King of Cups is one about a rationality and emotional balance, a sense of calm, faithfulness, friendly, wise, mature, and caring. It's a caring king. And remember now, whether we're talking kings or queens, it doesn't matter. We're talking energy. So you can be a woman and be in a masculine energy. Or you can be a man and be in a feminine energy. Okay? It's like the yin and yang. It's very, very much a part of divination in general. You can't tell if it's a man or a woman. You can just tell if it's somebody that's embodying a masculine or a feminine energy. That's it. Okay? All right. So I'll keep this at the bottom. All right, now let's look at the energy in the terms of the runes. What is the present energy? And I've already done my prayers, my affirmations, and I've already called upon Odin. Stirred them all up. So present energy for today. Present energy for today. And thank you. Thank you. All right. All right, Manas. Okay. Manas is good. We pulled out, I think, Monday as well. Now, what does Manas stand for? Well, Manas basically talks about anything dealing with humanity. Mankind. That means womankind too. Humanity, altruism, the self, modesty, both friends and enemies. Anything or any type of relationship that deals with people in general. Okay? So it's not a negative rune, and it's not, specifically as positive as others, but it does talk about, your relationships with other people, okay? That's all. To be aware of them. And, Viking culture was very different than the way it's portrayed a lot of times on TV. They were very much about... for example, charity and stuff like that, giving to others. They believe that, money flows so that the more that you give, the more that you also receive. If you actually hoard it, you end up losing it. And again, there is that law of reciprocity that we keep speaking of, and it's echoed in that sentiment. They're also cleaner than most people were actually at that time period too. I mean, they've got 2,000-year-old combs and brushes and things like that. Everything from earwax cleaners to you name it, they found, that are thousands of years old. So they were very much on top of their hygiene in a time period when, the medieval European equivalent, I mean, they didn't even bathe once a week in a lot of cases. They were still under the erroneous belief that bathing too much was unhealthy. So, kind of gross, right? All right, so let's get some influences, please. Influences, please. I'm sorry, you guys. I just woke up feeling this sense of urgency today. So Willow, and it's in the upright. I believe it. I feel it. I sense it. So Willow in the upright is a powerful rune. Okay, and it's found in the second group family, or Aet, under Heimdall, the guardian of gates of Asgard. And it means sun. It's like the sun card in tarot. Victory, power, attack, enlightenment, honor, and the very life force itself. Again, think of the sun. It gives life to everything, basically, in our solar system. Without the sun, almost none of this, what we see here would exist. Certainly no life that we know of. So it's a very, very important rune, and it's an extremely positive one. So it's a great influence to have to go along with Manas. All right, another influence, please. Another influence, please. What else do we have as far as influences in terms of energy this week? Degas. Now, we've had this many times over the last couple of weeks. That means the gods are talking. All right, so Degas. What is Degas? Well, first off, it's found in the third group family, or Ayat, under Tyre. And it means daybreak, day, dawn, breakthroughs. It means daytime clarity versus nighttime obscurity, balance, ambition, and growth. Again, it goes well with the first two cards that we pulled out in the tarot. So very, very positive, very, very good. All right, so we have one more to get. That's our future energy. What is the future energy for whatever the collective is watching this, whether it's today or whether it's a year from now? What is the future energy for the next 24 hours? And thank you. Next energy. Okay. No, I pulled out Degas again. This time with the rose quartz rune. Unbelievable. So the influence is also the overall energy for our future. And like I said, it talks about clarity. Having the clarity you need versus obscurities, like the sun card that we already saw once today versus the moon card. Okay, we can see clearly what, all the specifics of a certain decision that we need to make are. We just have to have the courage to do that which is right. Okay, that's what that basically means. Excellent. All right, so now let's go ahead and look at some hidden truths. We're almost at 42 minutes. That way I can go ahead and get this posted before it gets too much longer. I know I've ranted a little bit too much, but you got to do what you're told to do. Sometimes it may not make a lot of sense, and it may even upset a few other people, and it's not my intention at all. I apologize, for the others that have to listen to all this, but there's a lesson in it for you perhaps as well. So, we're all going through different things in this journey, and we're all at different levels of our journey. So I'm not angry with the people that are involved in all of this. Unlike them, for whatever reason, their envy and whatever, their hatred is beyond my understanding, but it's genuine. They have it. All right. Let's see. Hidden truth, please. Finding out the truth crushed me. Okay? Finding out the truth crushed me. Well, now that could be because you actually decided, instead of waiting around for them, you are actually going with your instincts and following your heart. Maybe you've actually met your divine counterpart, like we've already talked about. You may already be in a divine union, or that other person you believe is divine is already in your life, or you feel they are coming soon. This other party that we've been talking about briefly over the last couple of weeks, they're not very happy about that. They really thought you were going to be their fallback position, their plan B. So, one more, please. One more. What other truths does my collective need to know? And thank you. What other truths does the collective need to know? Thank you. One more. All right. Okay, yeah, sure you do. I want to be more than friends. We have seen this before over the last 3 weeks. So somebody out there wants to be more than friends with you, and I think that pretty much says it all. Don't need to elaborate too much on that. Just remember now, sexual temptation in particular is one of the tools that the enemy utilizes quite frequently to see, to test your mettle, to see if indeed you have grown in this cycle. And it's one of the most difficult ones to overcome, especially if you are attracted to somebody in particular. Very difficult to overcome that, especially when they're offering, so much in form of promises and everything else. But I hope you'll realize that it's a mere test. So much better is waiting for you on the other side. Especially if you know this is only just a physical thing. People today have cheapened that relationship so much to where it's become nothing more than a physical act. There's no love. There's no real affection anymore. They've mistaken lust for love. So, anyway. Of course, the media itself is also very much involved in all of that. It's certainly what they actually put out there for us all to consume daily. And the same groups very much involved in all of that. And I'll bring them to the forefront as well soon. All right, so as far as love goes, we've seen this one before. Cassette. Says outdated thinking, conditioning, replaying events over in your head. Okay? Now this could be for you, but I believe it's for the person who just basically is feeling crushed because of what they found out concerning your decisions, perhaps your relationship. Now it may actually be for you. You'll have to make that decision yourself. Okay, one more please, for love. I feel that it's for the other party, personally. All right, one more for love, please. One more card for love. Thank you. One more card for love. Okay. Addiction. It says codependent, obsession, possession, controlling, and has a block. Somebody who's restrained. Okay? Alright, codependent. Like I said, you were to be somebody else's plan B. Somebody lost their plan A, things didn't go as they planned, fell apart, maybe they met somebody just like themselves, or even worse than who they are. Now they're paying the price and seeing what it's like to be on the other side of that. Sorry you couldn't do it for yourself. That's what we're all here to learn. That's what empathy is by definition, after all. Being able to put yourself in somebody else's shoes without having to go through it. You know? All right, let's get a spirit animal card, please. What animal would like to come through and give us some advice, perhaps a warning, perhaps a message of love? What animal would like to come forward right now for my collective? Give me an animal, please, that would like to come forward for my collective. Animal for my collective. Thank you. All right. So we have, I love unicorns. Unicorns are magical beasts. Okay? In many ways. So it basically means infinite possibilities exist, and that is true for all of us out here, especially if you have chosen to embark on this spiritual journey. There's absolutely nothing you cannot do. And the more spiritual you become, the more involved in this journey you become, the more you believe that to be true. Like Neo and his evolution in the Matrix. And I keep falling back on this because a lot of people have seen that movie, and it gives you a visual understanding of many of these concepts that you wouldn't have just by discussion. So, all right, says you are sovereign of both the seen and the unseen worlds. The magic of love surrounds you. Beauty transforms you. Listen to the spirits of light. Abandon the darkness. Go beyond the ordinary and become the legendary. Amen. Let it be so. Thank you so much. That is awesome. All right, collective. Well, we're at 50 minutes almost exactly here, and I'm going to end it right at that. I wish you all the very best. I thank you for humoring me in this tirade I went in today, but I felt absolutely obliged to do it since the moment I got up, and that was, well, 7 hours ago. So I've been sitting on it all this time. All right, so my apologies to the others out there, but there must be a lesson in there for you as well, somehow, some way. I hope you all have a great rest of the day, blessed day. You certainly have the energy for that. Victory is ours. Blessings are coming. Fabulous relationship is either here or it's coming. So I wish you all the best until tomorrow. Stay victorious, and I'll see you all in Valhalla.